Welcome to A Minute with Alan. This episode is term limits. You know, some people were calling for term limits on the Supreme Court because they were unhappy that the court has turned rather conservative since the first Donald Trump presidency. And one of the leading shouters was our senator up here, Sheldon Whitehouse, and he wanted the Supreme Court either to have term limits or to enlarge it so you can put in more non-conservative members. Well, now that President Trump is back in office, Sheldon Whitehouse has changed his tune. But I'll tell you something, where we need term limits is on the Senate and Congress, because there are none, never have been, really. And consequently, senators serve longer than European monarchs. Queen Elizabeth II served for a long, long time. If you take her out of the British monarchs, the average tenure of a British monarch was something like 30 years or 35 years. If you take Louis XIV's, Louis XIV, out of the French monarchy system, because he served for 72 years, the average tenure of a French monarch was under 20 years. The late Robert Byrd of the United States Senate served for 50 and a half years. And there's another senator in office now, I'm going to do this from memory, I think his name is Chesley, is in office right now for 51 and a half years. And so, will senators, for example, who have lifetime employment here, if they've got a safe seat, will they ever vote to limit their own terms? Of course they won't. And that's the trouble with the Republic. This was never deemed possible by the Founding Fathers. No president ever served more than 2 terms until FDR took office. Washington was offered a 3rd term. He said, no, 2 is enough, he said. FDR took a 3rd term when he was already ill, and when he won his 4th election, he was dying. People knew this. He had changed his vice president from John Nance Garner to Harry Truman, and that's how Harry Truman became president, the last non-college educated president who ultimately had to decide to drop atomic bombs on Japan to end the war. And so, it seems to me that I'd like to vote for a senator who says 2 terms, 12 years for a senator is enough. And I'm going to try to pass that legislation, at least give the intent. But we have senators and some congresspeople who serve longer in safe seats than monarchs do. And the funny thing to me is that democracy undermined the monarchs, undermined monarchies. But now it seems we're going back the other way.